Tonight on CBC Vancouver News.
When they get their notice to book and get vaccinated.
BC opens COVID-19 vaccination registration for kids 12 and up also.
I was concerned about the racial profiling as well.
Calls for better training after VPD officers mistakenly arrest a black former judge. And
in one case, thieves got away with more than $10,000 in plywood.
Priced out. What's behind a spike in thefts from construction sites?
This is CBC Vancouver News.
good evening. A Vancouver woman wants the Vancouver Police Department to be better educated when it comes to systemic racism.
It comes after a retired black judge was mistakenly handcuffed by VPD officers last week on the seawall.
As Joel Ballard reports, the woman calling for more training was nearly assaulted by the actual suspect police were looking for.
The gibberish just started, got angry, like enraged, and his hands were flailing about, and then he went to swipe at me.
Fatima Jaffer was walking on the seawall Friday with a friend when the man attacked. She ducked out of the way, falling into her friend. Both women shaken but unharmed. Jaffer filmed the man walking away after targeting another woman.
He kept jumping, lunging at her, and she kept moving away.
Jaffer was then joined by her friend Kentish, an 85-year-old black man and member of the West End community. Kentish went to trail the man from the seawall incident to make sure he didn't hurt anyone else. But the women didn't want Kentish to go.
We were afraid that if the police came, he would be profiled.
Police did arrive, eventually detaining and handcuffing another black man, 81-year-old Selwyn Romilly, a retired Supreme Court justice.
The irony is that they went after another black man after all, and not Kentish. They still found a black man to find.
Police were looking for a dark-skinned man in his 40s to 50s. Justice Romilly is in his 80s. Romilly was released, but described the incident as deeply embarrassing. Vancouver police have since apologized, but in a statement said Justice Romilly was not racially profiled. It was a dynamic situation, and he fit the description. He was briefly and lawfully detained because an officer thought he was the person who had been reported to police. The women disagree.
And I'm very aware of being white, having many privileges, and thinking, I don't know if I would have been treated like that.
Jaffer says there's often a feeling that race issues only exist in the States and could never happen here. But she says it clearly does. So much so that an entire group of people were afraid for a black man to do the right thing, all because he could be racially profiled and wrongfully detained by police.
It made me despair that the cops will ever get it. Really, Vancouverites got it. Why can't the cops be a little more sensitive about what they're going to do?
Justice Romilly was profiled, she says, and she believes further education in the force is needed to ensure something like this doesn't happen again. Joel Ballard, CBC News, Vancouver.
BC has now opened up COVID-19 vaccine registrations for kids aged 12 and older. Full details coming tomorrow.
Our Tanya Fletcher joins us live with what we do know today. Tanya, we're also getting details on where young people will likely get their immunizations.
Yeah, so today came that news many parents and young people have been waiting for in BC. Up until now, only adults 18 and older were able to book vaccine appointments. Now those as young as 12 can do so as registrations have opened right up. In some cases, those young people are receiving booking invitations right away as well. Health Minister Adrian Dix confirmed it today after they ran a test of the system last night, he says. And he also mentioned BC is planning to deliver these youth vaccines at existing clinics, not schools, like some had been pushing for.
We've created, I think, an extraordinary system of clinics around BC, so this will allow all those 12 to 17 to go and to take advantage of that and to get registered, absolutely, book when they get their notice to book, and get vaccinated. There will be some different plans, as you could imagine, in smaller communities.
And details today were sparse. He kept repeating that specifics will come at tomorrow's health briefing, where officials will be joined by the Premier as well.
All right, we'll watch for that. And Canada Tanya has also adjusted the storage temperature for the Pfizer vaccine. What's that going to mean for BC?
Yeah, Health Canada has now updated its guidance as of today, allowing thawed Pfizer vials to be kept at fridge temperature for up to a month. And that's expected to have major implications on the vaccine rollout right across the country. So up until now, the vaccine has typically been transported at temperatures between -60 to -80 degrees Celsius. And because it was the more delicate vaccine and needing those freezer temperatures, it wasn't deployed to remote communities in BC. Instead, Moderna picked up the slack on that front. So the health minister now says this is good news for our province because it allows more flexibility in the vaccine distribution.
Gives us a little bit more flexibility in how we use the Pfizer vaccine, the kind of flexibility we've had for a while with the Moderna vaccine as well. And so it allows us to do all kinds of things that we weren't able to do before, and I think it'll be helpful in general.
Now, to date, more than 2.6 million vaccines have been administered province-wide. Mike, Anita?
All right, Tanya Fletcher reporting tonight. Thanks. And BC has recorded another 521 new cases of COVID-19 and 8 more deaths today. 340 people are in hospital, including 118 in intensive care. More than 65,000 people got a COVID-19 vaccine yesterday, setting a new daily record.
And you're being warned, there will be more road checks over this May-long weekend. It's part of the COVID restrictions against non-essential travel between health regions. The road checks will stay in place until at least May 25th. Until then, only essential travel is allowed.
Skyrocketing lumber prices are triggering a spike in thefts from construction sites.
We're encouraging construction site managers, construction site companies to take some extra precautions to prevent these crimes from occurring.
There have been at least 7 lumber thefts on the west side of Vancouver this year. In one case, thieves stole more than $10,000 worth of plywood. Experts say it could be years before prices return to pre-pandemic levels.
Surrey RCMP are asking the public for help in finding a wanted man who also has connections to the gang war playing out in the Lower Mainland. Naseem Mohammed is a member of the Brothers Keepers gang and has been the target of violence in the past. The 22-year-old's whereabouts are unknown, though police say he illegally entered the U.S. at some point. They cannot confirm whether he has returned to Canada. He's wanted on multiple arrest warrants. And RCMP say this bag of drugs was found in the rectum of a man recently arrested. The bag contained suspected crack and powder cocaine. Police say it's a reminder of the reality that gang members live in constant fear of getting robbed, murdered, or arrested.
Metro Vancouver Transit Police say they have taken a dangerous armed man off the streets. He was arrested in a mall parking lot in Burnaby.
Dan Burrett joins us live with more on this. Dan, who is this person?
Police say he's 23-year-old Luis Manuel Baez of Surrey, a suspected gang member. Transit police say just before 4 p.m. yesterday, officers stopped Baez in a parking lot of Metrotown for smoking marijuana in a location that's not allowed. Police claim he bolted and jumped into a car. They wrestled him out, and the force says officers saw him throw a handgun under a parked car. He's now charged with obstruction and firearms crimes.
We have someone who has a known criminal history, who's in possession of an illegal firearm in a busy shopping center close to a major transit hub. So this is somebody who had total disregard for public safety.
Baez's arrest comes as police vow to crack down on gangs to quell the recent wave of deadly shootings across Metro Vancouver. Anita, Mike?
Dan Burrett reporting tonight. Thanks, Dan. 5 more people arrested today at a logging blockade on southern Vancouver Island as protesters gathered at the Nanaimo Law Courts to support those arrested yesterday.
We are here to guard the trees!
Police say 6 of those arrested Tuesday for obstruction or breaching an injunction order were released with conditions. 1 refused to sign a conditional release document and appeared in court today.
The Vancouver-based company is facing a $60,000 fine for illegally importing thousands of dried shark fins. The owners of the Kuyik Trading Company lied about the contents of a large shipment that arrived from Hong Kong in 2018. They pleaded guilty yesterday. The company had declared fins from blue sharks, but DNA testing proved a majority came from the protected skilly shark, like these. Environment Canada officers confiscated 13 boxes of fins, believed to be the largest seizure of its kind in Canada.
And the province is setting aside $5 million to help clean up plastic.
We're encouraging people to use much less plastic overall. But for the plastics we do use, we need to find better ways to deal with it. We know that if we recycle plastic properly, we can not only protect the environment, but we have a valuable resource.
Environment Minister George Heyman says far too much plastic waste is ending up in the countryside, the ocean, and in the landfill. He says the money is to help companies find a way to turn that plastic waste into new products. The program is designed to reduce plastic in BC by 20,000 tons each year.
Johanna Wagstaffe here now with our first check of the weather. If you like variety in your weather, you certainly got that today.
That is well put, yes. We had literally everything but the kitchen sink, including a report of, for the better part of the day, was a mystery, a tornado, a waterspout, a dust devil over Oak Bay in Victoria. Take a listen to one of the witnesses.
Okay, I don't know if you can see all these pieces of garbage. They just got taken up in a total tornado. Oh my gosh. And they're all
A tiny tornado, as it was described there. Now, I actually talked to the Centre for International Waterspout Research today because the atmosphere was unstable enough for waterspouts. This location was about a kilometer inland. It was hard to say whether that waterspout could stay attached. Looks like it was a cold core funnel. So basically a variant, upper high, a level up from a tornado, but not causing much damage. Anyway, that's the kind of atmosphere we had today. I'll tell you what we've got for the rest of the week and into the long weekend coming up.
Wild stuff. We'll talk to you soon, Joe. Thanks. And the Richmond Night Market has been approved to reopen. The market will return to the River Rock Casino location after being canceled last year because of the pandemic. It won't open in time for the usual May-long weekend start, most likely returning in July or August, depending on the weather. To make up for lost time, the market will run until December 31st.
All right, during the National Hockey League playoffs on CBC television, just a reminder of how and where you can watch this newscast. We'll be on every weekday at 6 p.m. online, streaming on CBC Gem, YouTube, and Facebook.
And then we'll be on air on television after the hockey game each evening. Those times, of course, will vary depending on when the game starts and when it ends. You can always watch our show on demand, streaming at our website, cbc.ca/BC.
The end of an era. After 72 years, Surrey's Clover Lanes bowling alley is shutting its doors. After the break, why it's happening and what's next for the space.
Thank you for staying with us during our commercial-free live stream.
Well, so many things have been canceled over the past year because of the pandemic. One of them is a 4-year-old girl's birthday party in Nova Scotia.
But as Colleen Jones shows us, the girl's mom still found a way to make her daughter feel special.
We were gonna go bowling.
Abby Dukes was heartbroken when her Bolorama birthday party next week was COVID canceled. Her mom, Natasha, did her best to explain why, or as best you can explain the hazards of COVID to a still 3-year-old.
So we had to cancel it, and she was pretty upset about that. So we wanted to explain to her they're still good, big things can still happen for your birthday. 3, go!
And that big thing turned into something bigger than even Natasha imagined. She used her daughter's love of geography to show her how love around the world can spread. Using Facebook, she started the Love Project. Her hopes that a few people around the world would send pictures with this note saying just how big Mummy's love for Abby is. The notes poured in, from down under in Australia to the top of the world, the North Pole. From Thailand over to the home of Robin Hood in England. There was North Carolina and Sandy Lake, Ontario. Dublin, Ireland sent love, so did Brazil. Germany, Haverbusch, Nova Scotia, to Stockholm, Prague, and Schaffhausen, Switzerland. Some were family, but most were strangers, all though letting Abby know just how big her mom's love is, that it's as big as the whole wide world.
Went crazy, and I was hoping like family from Canada and stuff like that, friends from Facebook would be able to help out because we're all spread everywhere. And it turned into a worldwide thing. The word went on. We got photos from Norway, from Australia, from the North Pole.
Abigail, my name is Gary Beals, and I'm originally from Cherry Brook, Nova Scotia, and your mommy's love.
Beals has just finished a documentary on love, so naturally, he got into this love project.
And I just want to send you a message to say, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. May your day be filled with love, with laughter, with joy, with happiness.
All of this to try and teach young Abby that birthdays are big, yes, but love, that's way bigger. Okay. Colleen Jones, CBC News, Dartmouth.
Very nice. But as you say, there's been quite a bit of this kind of celebration going on during the pandemic.
We've seen a lot of global birthdays, a lot of global celebrations. It's pretty cool to see everybody come together, even when you don't know each other.
Absolutely. Okay, back in just a sec. Lots more still to come right now at 6:16. A live look at the Port of Vancouver on this Wednesday night. A lot going on out there.
Well, for 72 years, Surrey's Clover Lanes has been an icon in the community. It's also one of the few remaining bowling alleys in the area.
But last month, COVID forced it to close its doors. As Zara Premji tells us tonight, it'll be reopening in a few months with a new purpose.
Very sad that COVID could bring such devastating trauma.
Before the pandemic shuttered the iconic Clover Lanes 5-pin bowling alley, it was a hub for celebrations. Birthdays, wedding parties, and other family get-togethers. The alley was a meeting place for so many.
People that you don't see other than when you come down here and that, so you're excited. Well, what did you do all week?
In 1949, it first opened its doors to the Surrey community. Tucked away between a neighborhood corner store and a police station, a destination inside a quiet residential neighborhood. This place turned into a landmark over its 72 years, leaving a lasting impact on just about anyone who laced up at the lanes.
It was a place that you looked so forward to the new week coming. At times I bowled at least 3 times a week.
But the iconic lanes couldn't survive the economic downturn brought on by the pandemic.
COVID hit, and it took every breath of our business, and it left the business to ashes.
The alley has gone through many hands over the years. The last owners bought it 3 years ago and intended to keep it for decades to come.
Maybe my grandson would have taken over.
However, COVID-19 was a strike they didn't see coming, but the decision to sell wasn't made lightly.
But we also made a very deliberate choice to make sure that we gave it to somebody that would also continue to serve the community in such hard time.
Going from a site of sports pilgrimage to a more religious calling.
We come here to give them a place of worship, a youth development center, children's ministry place, and then also a soup kitchen and also a food bank.
So come September, this bowling alley will be reborn when the Clover Lanes sign comes down and the Church of Pentecost Canada sign goes up.
We're here with good reasons and good intentions.
And while this won't be a bowling alley anymore, they hope to remain a pin in the Cloverdale community. Zara Premji, CBC News, Surrey.
Okay, talk about making an entrance. A Whitby, Ontario woman gave birth on the side of the 407 highway.
And the whole thing was caught on tape. Natalie Colletta caught up with the mom, dad, and baby number 3 to talk about their incredible story.
I just think my water just broke.
This is how the story starts. Erica Campbell, convinced she had time before baby number 3 entered the world.
So let me shower.
So you're gonna take a shower?
Yeah.
Dad, Troy, less so.
I think we should go.
As her first contractions got closer together, the Whitby, Ontario couple got on the move. But as they hit the highway, worry set in.
She went from let's chill, let's take a shower to you better hurry.
The baby decided to cut to the chase.
I gotta push.
You gotta push? What do you mean you gotta push?
On the side of the highway, 11 minutes from the hospital.
Babe, is the baby coming?
Yes!
Okay, I'm pulling over.
They made 2 frantic calls to the midwife and 911.
I'm having the baby side of the highway right now. I can see the baby's head. The baby's head is out.
The ambulance wasn't there yet, but Nova Marie Campbell was on her way. The drama about to get so much more intense.
Baby's out, baby's out, baby's out, baby's out, baby's with mommy. Jesus.
Do not hang up. I want you to hold the baby against your chest, Erica.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the vehicle description?
White Dodge Ram. White Dodge Ram.
Is the baby crying, Erica?
No, not yet.
Okay, you're doing a good job, okay? Tell her to take slow, deep breaths. Do not pull on anything.
Not pulling.
Okay. Cold. Is the baby crying? Wipe its mouth.
Yes, thank God.
It was a very, very, very scary 20 seconds.
I was just wanted the baby to cry, so that was my first concern.
Now home, everyone's safe, healthy, and happy. Nova Marie's arrival continues to bring joy.
It was a great moment to have been captured.
The couple posted the video online. It's generated thousands of views and many congratulations.
There's so much stuff on TV right now that, you know, kind of puts people in a bad mood. And to share something like this, like so many people are telling me like this video is making them feel good.
Adding a little brightness and love in the middle of the pandemic. Natalie Coladas, CBC News, Whitby, Ontario.
That is incredible. Thank goodness it was baby number 3 for her, so they were a little prepared, maybe knew what they were doing.
Yes, and nice of them to share their very private story. And he looked like he had all the angles covered with the cameras. It was
They
all
were well prepared.
well documented.
Well, it's maybe not the brightest move, laying eggs high up on a building. How the baby geese made it down, coming up.
National with George McLean.
A dense cloud of gray ash is sweeping eastward from Mount St. Helens volcano in the wake of yesterday's violent eruption. 6 states and parts of Western Canada are blanketed in soot. There are fears that another eruption could follow within 48 hours. Already 5 people are known to have died. More than 20 others are missing. Colin Hoth reports.
Cautious inspection from the air by geologists today established that some 300 meters were knocked off of the peak of the mountain in Sunday's explosion. It seems the new crater may be as much as 1,500 meters deep. Most of the damage was caused by the massive flow of molten ash and rock that raced down the mountain. It scorched a path 25 kilometers wide down the northern face, totally destroying everything in the way. Part of a lake system has totally vanished beneath the mud. Communities to the northeast of the mountain remain in semi-dark under the cloud of ash and smoke. Across the northern states, people are being warned to avoid contact with the volcanic ash. Geologists seem uncertain at the moment whether the ash would harm water and food supplies. The Washington state government is expected to seek federal aid in the cleanup operation right around the mountain. Some residents who were evacuated yesterday were being allowed back to their homes today to assess losses, but were advised not to remain overnight. Military helicopters this morning brought out one family of 4 who'd been lost while camping near the north side of the mountain on Sunday. They were apparently unharmed. Operation of the rescue helicopters has been hampered by the ash in the air and on the ground. Several groups of people have been sighted from the air, apparently alive and well, but there remain 25 unaccounted for.
466 has picked up a family of how many over? Are they en route to the Everett Hospital? Is that right?
No one gets any closer to the volcano than this, and the efforts to rescue those who are trapped on the other side continue, because even the experts aren't prepared to guess what Mount St. Helens might do next. Colin Holt, CBC News at Toutle, State of Washington.
Meteorologist Johanna Wagstaffe joins us now with the forecast. Joe, okay, big lightning show the other night, possibly round 2.
We are seeing, some lightning across the south coast right now. In fact, control room just letting me, they've got the ominous clouds on our tower cam. Let's see if we can head out to, there we go. Looking out east, that is a fresh line of thunderstorms rolling through Abbotsford with some heavy rain right now. Mission, but heads up, it is tracking towards the southwest. So not out of the question, even Vancouver could see some rain in the next couple of hours, all thanks to this swirling low. Let's see if I can do some live tracking for you as I zoom in on these lightning strikes just showing up. Right across the south coast, you can see between Kamloops and Vancouver, it's active thanks to that swirling low. Abbotsford, there we go, catching some lightning strikes. Not out of the question that it's also bringing some hail that we saw earlier today in North Van. All of this convective activity thanks to that low that will get kicked out tomorrow. Let's get to the forecast. Much calmer across the province and warmer too. Few showers possible in through Kelowna and Cranbrook. But by the afternoon, we've got sunshine. That's as this high pressure moves in. So much more stable. Some morning snow possible for the Kootenays. This is going to be a snow event for Calgary and Medicine Hat. But for us, we are warming up in the long range forecast. 18 by Friday, 19 by Saturday. Inland will be hitting the 20s, and our question mark Sunday, more confidence, that'll also be sunny as we head into our long weekend. Mike and Anita.
All right, thanks, Johanna. Well, it's a common problem this time of year. Urban geese nesting in odd places, like the ledge of a Vancouver building.
It prompted some nearby residents to come up with a rescue plan to get the gaggle back into the wild. Take a look.
A group of Vancouver residents rescued this gaggle of geese from a 2-story building. The geese needed help getting their goslings back down to the ground. While some of the goslings managed to jump off the ledge, a few of them stayed behind. Residents who lived across from the building kept an eye on the geese and called the Wildlife Rescue Association to safely rescue them.
They know what to do if the animal's injured. They know what to do if the animals they let the wildlife rescue take care of the animals and decide what's best for them.
The geese were eventually relocated to Stanley Park and released into the wild.
Yeah, they're all over the place these days. A friend of mine works for Wildlife Rescue, and he was up on the roof of the convention center the other day just trying to help some goslings find their way.
I guess you won't be rescuing any of these goslings.
Not if they're high up.
No.
We'll leave that to the professionals.
All right, that is it for our show tonight. You can always find our newscasts online anytime at cbc.ca/BC.
Our next local news right here at 11 with Dan Burritt after the National. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.